Good morning, friends. First of all, I welcome all of you for this webinar organized by Maharaja Surjmal Institute, New Delhi. At the outset, I will like to convey my thanks to the organizing committee, the management of the organization, Honorable President Kaptan Singh, Professor J.P. Singh, our old colleague, friend, and other members of the organizing committee, including Dr. Rachita Rana, Professor Dr. Harish Singh, and Ms. Rhythm Chaudhary for organizing this webinar, in which there are going to be two presentations, one by me on ethical issues in research and the second one on leadership challenges in this hour of crisis by Dr. Rajeshwari Malik. Now, friends, all of us understand that during the current time of this COVID-19 lockdown effect, shutdown of the economy effect, that all of us in the educational institutions are organizing various type of academic activities online or through webinars. Discussions are taking place. So in higher education, various academic institutions, so they are trying to cope up with the present crisis through these type of online activities. Now, I am Professor H.L. Verma. Presently, I am working as Vice Chancellor in Jagannath University, which is located at Bahadurgarh Jhajjar Road in Haryana. We are a new university, 6 years old, and we are offering courses, technical and professional courses at UG, PG and PhD level in various disciplines, including management, engineering, architecture, law, education, physiotherapy, pharmacy, agriculture science, etc., etc. Now, in our university, we have a special focus on the research activities. Now, on the basis of my experience in the present university and also my background in the state universities in Haryana, so I have a lot of exposure to the research, particularly at PhD level. So I will like to share with you the various type of ethical issues which are relevant, which every student of research, every teacher or every student who is in the higher education field need to have understanding, proper understanding, because violation of ethics is considered as an academic crime. It is a serious crime and there are penalties prescribed for that. Like other crimes, if there are unethical practices in research, so it attracts penalty. It is considered as an academic crime. It is a serious, because it has its own background. Now we all understand that research is an integral part of the higher education system. It is said that a good researcher makes a good teacher. And from national point of view, it has been observed that there is a direct link between the growth of research, quality of research, and economic growth of the country. Today we find that the developed nations like US or other European countries or even China now, so they are advancing, they are growing, they have grown, and one of the factors which have contributed towards their growth, that is quality of research. If India today is not in the category of developed nations, it is a developing nation, still it is a developing nation in spite of the fact that we have large size population, quality human beings, intelligent human beings, and all other type of resources are available in the country. India is a continent itself. It is said that India is a rich nation inhabited by poor people. Now it conveys that India is rich in terms of natural resources, in terms of various type of you can say availability of the resources in the country, but somehow we are not able to manage so far properly our resources, our affairs, and research is one of such factor which as in the field of being in the field of education. So we find that research quality need to improve, and all people who are engaged in with research activities, they need to understand particularly these ethical concerns or ethical issues of the field of research. Now friends, I belong to the field of management, so I will talk about the research in the field of social sciences, research in the field of, because research is relevant to all aspects of life, research is relevant to all disciplines, though basic principles of research are the same, but with the change in the discipline or the nature of the problem or the nature of the research project, so there may be some change in the methodology, there may be some change in the process or the research method which is used for that purpose. Now in view of that, I have prepared about 8 slides. So I will be talking about all these slides process by process. Now first slide that relates to the concept of research, that what is research. The second is the research process. I will try to touch that also. Then features of good research. Then what are ethics and values? That will be the 4th slide. Then certain basic moral principles of research ethics. Then I will come to the research ethical issues, and then I will talk about plagiarism issues, and lastly I will try to convey the conclude the my discussions. Now as far as the concept of research is concerned, research means searching the truth, to know the unknown, to find solutions to the problems. That if there is you have any question in mind and you want to find solution to that question, want to find answer to that question, research is a process. Research process helps to find answer to the questions. Now every research has certain basic questions. Now since India is a country, is a large size country, in every field we can find issues, we can find problems, we can find questions for which we would like to have the answers. So it means that research can be conducted on any subject, in any field, India is full of problems, and we can take any problem, and if we have understanding of the research process, we can find answer to or solution to that problem. Now, in case of business organizations, so research that the managements, they have to take various type of decisions. On one type of decision is the rational decisions. If we want to take rational decisions, these can be based on research information provided through research process. So in that case, if we have to define that what is research, so research is a systematic process of inquiry to find solutions to the problems. So it is a systematic process. It is called a scientific process. Research is a process that when we have to conduct the research, there are different steps in that. There are different type of, you can say that process involves various type of steps. So those steps help to reach to the final conclusions. So we can say it is a systematic process, or it is a systematic inquiry. We can say it is a process of planning, acquiring, analyzing and disseminating relevant data, information and insight to decision makers. That managements, they need information. Any person who is at the top has to take decisions, and providing the relevant data, relevant information, relevant insight, so that a rational decision can be made. So that is another way to define this research. Now friends, in the present times, when we find that this COVID-19, it has created a major disruption in all the activities, including business organization, including our educational institutions. Now uncertainties have increased. Now if we have to take the appropriate decision that what is the way out in the present scenario, in the present situation, now again research will provide the answer. Research can give us the ideas and can suggest us the appropriate decisions. So research can be applied to any field. It is a systematic process, it is a scientific process, and every researcher need to have adequate, proper understanding of that process. Now as far as the process is concerned, that what is the research process, what are the various steps in the research process. So it includes one, formulation of the problem, second, review of literature, third, research objectives and hypothesis, fourth is research design, then fifth one is data collection, sixth is data analysis, then drawing conclusions, report writing, and last one is references and bibliography. Now these are the 9 steps in the research process generally which we talk of, that whenever any person starts PhD level research or postdoctoral research, now these are the steps which will be involved in every research project, in every research. Now for example, first is formulation of the problem. Now the research process starts with formulation, identification and formulation of the problem, that we need to identify what is the problem, what is the question in our mind for which we want to find the answer through research process. So in a systematic way, first step is problem is identified, problem is defined, then second stage comes review of literature, that already existing literature that need to be reviewed. We need to understand what is the present level of knowledge, what other people have done in that, what is the present status as far as that particular problem is concerned. So review of literature has its own significance. Review of literature need to be done very seriously, because from review of literature we come to know that how other people have worked or have done the research relating to that problem. So what were their objectives, what methodology they adopted, what type of conclusions they drawn. So we get idea through the review of literature that whether the process which we are thinking of or we are going to follow, that is the right process, or so that validity, the confidence, so that comes to our understanding. Then research objectives. Every research problem identifies objective. There is a main objective and then there are sub-objectives. So in order to find solution to that problem which we are going to investigate or through the research process, so we need to identify the objectives and hypotheses. Hypotheses are the expected outcomes. So our research need to be focused and we should have certain identified objectives which are to be focused in the process of research. Then there is a research design in which it is explained that what strategy will be followed, what method will be followed in the research process. So depending upon the nature of the problem, depending upon the nature of the subject, research design is explained, how data will be collected, how data will be analyzed, and what will be the tools which will be used in that, all that. So need to be explained in the research design. Then data collection. So there can be a primary data, there can be a secondary data, because research is a systematic process of finding solution to the problems. So it is based on data, it is based on information which is collected from the primary sources or from the secondary sources depending on the nature of the problem. So data collection, tools are identified, reliability, validity of the tools need to be established. So since it is a scientific process, so everything need to be done in a systematic way. Then data analysis is another stage, that the data collected need to be analyzed by applying certain appropriate tools. Tools help to summarize, or we can say reach to the final conclusions. So in summary form, the data analysis helps to find answer to the questions. Then drawing conclusions. Conclusions are drawn based on data analysis. Conclusions must be based on the data analysis. So then report writing, to which we call as a writing the thesis. Ultimately report is written. So it has its own process. There is a systematic way, scientific process, that how report is to be written, what is needed to be. And last thing is references and bibliography. So again there are guidelines given. For example, in social sciences we have American Psychological Association APA guidelines, so which need to be followed, or some other guidelines need to be followed, so that the finally references and bibliography is given. Now this is a research process. These are the points which is in every research. The process is almost the same, whether it relates to the field of social sciences or to the sciences or any, you can say, research area. So process is almost the same. So every researcher need to have proper understanding of the research process. Then another slide which I prepared that relates to features of good research. So research must be of quality if ultimately we have to achieve the objectives for which the research has been carried out. So a good research has certain features. So those features include purpose clearly defined. So purpose of the research must be very clear. What are the objectives? What are the questions in mind for which we want to find the answer? So it must be clearly defined. That is one good feature of a good research. Then the research process is detailed. So every researcher need to detail out that what is the process to be followed. So that is the second. It will help lead to quality research, quality output of the research. Then research design is thoroughly planned. So that is again one very important point that helps to improve the quality. Then fourth is high ethical standards followed. That ethics in research is very important. High ethical standards need to be followed in research so that the research output is of quality. So what are ethical issues or what are ethical standards which need to be applied, we will discuss after that. So then limitations need to be frankly revealed. So if there are imperfections while you are conducting a research, certain limitations are there. So these need to be detailed out, written in the report because it will help to understand the results in that perspective. Then adequate analysis for the decision makers. So in case of social sciences, because decision maker, our data should be adequate. It need to be, you can say, touch all the aspects which can help the decision maker to take a appropriate decision. Findings presented unambiguously. That we cannot add findings from our own. The findings should be based on the data. So those need to be presented. In a good research report, you will find that all findings are presented in simple language, clearly, and conclusions are justified. That we need to discuss conclusions and justify the conclusions in the light of the in the overall perspective. And researcher's experience also need to be reflected. So in a good research report, at the end the researcher experience, that who is the researcher, what was the team who has conducted this research. So their experience, their background, because it adds to the credibility of the research, or it adds to the confidence of the research. So then another slide which I am going to discuss with you, that relates to the ethics and values. That because in this presentation we are going to discuss about the ethical issues in research. We need to understand ethics. We need to understand values. We need to understand ethos. Now basically, what are ethics? In order to understand ethics, we need to understand what are ethos, what are values, and how ethics are derived from ethos and values. Now there is a one term, ethos. Ethos refers to habitual character of the people, of the society. We Indians, as Indians, we have certain common beliefs, common characteristics, and we all understand that these particular things are true. Everyone, irrespective of the caste or irrespective of the religion, or it is as Indians, as Hindus, or as part of the Indian society. So there are certain basic issues, ethos, that in which every Indian believes it to be true. Now for example, we talk of karma theory. That karma means doing hard work, doing work and not without caring for the you can say the results. As in Gita it is said कि कर्म किए जा और फल की इच्छा मत कर. Now every Indian believes in that we all believe that if we want to succeed in life, we have to work hard. So that is a karma theory what teaches us. There is no conflict in that. This is one ethos. Then we all believe in the existence of God. Basically all Indians are spiritualist people. We believe that there is some Atma, there is some internal power which drives us, which gives us energy. Now it is internal. Based on that, we all believe in that. There is a one God, there is a one superpower. Now that is another ethos. And then we all believe in that welfare of all. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि सर्वत्र का भला, that is the Indian philosophy, that we believe universal welfare. So we believe in that. That is part of our basic culture. Now similarly, yoga is our culture, macrovision is our culture, and work ethos, we have number of work ethos in which we all believe, self-discipline we all believe. No, it means that if we analyze the Indian society, character of the Indians, so we can identify that there are certain common things which are in every person. Now that makes us, that makes our character. So it means what are our ethics in life? Ethics refer to moral values, the theory of right and wrong, good or bad. We find that that in our society we say it is good or it is bad. On the basis of what we say that this act is good or this act is bad. No, that is based on our ethos, that is based on our basic character, that is based on our basic philosophy of life. No, it means that in every society there are certain ethical standards, ethical norms, ethical beliefs, that we believe that certain these things are good or these things are bad. This is desirable, this is not desirable in human behavior, or the right and wrong theory. So that refers to ethics. It refers to the moral principles. That now these ethics are derived from ethos. Ethical standards of our society may be different from ethical standards of other societies. For example, in American society, there may be certain things which they don't consider as bad. We consider such things, such behaviors as bad, because it is our culture is different from them. So therefore, ethics differ from culture to culture, may differ from culture to culture, may differ from time to time. That certain things which we were considering bad 10 years back in human behavior, maybe today we find that it is acceptable. So it means that ethics change over the period of time. From time to time it may change, and over from society to society it may differ. Now when ethics are relevant to all aspects of life, it is whether it is a research or it is life, social life, or any other organization. In organizations we find organizations prescribe code of conduct, do's and don'ts, that they prescribe the guidelines that these are do's and these are don'ts. That is based on the ethical norms, that refer to the ethical norms. What is desirable from the employees? Do's. What is not desirable from the employees? Don'ts. Now similarly, in case of research, because today we are going to discuss about the ethics in research, that in research also there are ethical norms, ethical standards, that what is desirable, what is not desirable. Now friends, since research is a very noble activity, it is a noble activity. Research is an activity of great responsibility. Research involves investment of time and money. It is a highly capital intensive activity. Now therefore, it has national importance. Research helps generating knowledge. Research helps in innovation. Research helps in finding solutions to the various problems. Research helps in the growth of the economy. And everything what we see, what we use in life, so that is the ultimate result of research. Every product has come out of the research process. Every innovation, every technology. So research helps in development of the economy. So it is a highly important area. It is an area of great responsibility. It is an activity of great responsibility. So it must be done in a responsible way. That is what prescribes our ethical norms for the research. Now, since it is an important activity, it is of national importance, it is important for every individual and every organization and the nation as a whole. So therefore, and we find that those countries which are advanced in quality research are able to follow all these norms and standards. So they have grown fast. They are able to manage their affairs in a more credible way. They are developed today. So therefore, one important area which in academic institutions, in higher education institutions we find, which need to be attended to, focused, that is quality of research. Quality of research must improve. Ethical standards must be followed while conducting research. So every researcher, every person who is associated with the higher education institutions, every academician need to understand these ethical standards, these ethical issues. It is a very important area. And if you are doing research and not able to follow the ethical standards, it is a crime. It is a crime like other crimes. It is punishable crime. Now UGC has come with guidelines on plagiarism, and they have prescribed the penalties for that. That if in the plagiarism it is found that there is a civility more than say 10% or other levels, there are different levels prescribed in that. So then punishment is according to that. So therefore, research ethics, it is important for everyone to understand what are the ethical standards, ethical norms in research. Now, in order to understand the research ethics, there are 4 basic principles which constitute the basis of research ethics. Whether it is science or it is any field, any discipline. So 4 basic principles every researcher needs to understand, which form the basis of the research ethics. One is the principle of non-maleficence. There are 4 principles. One is principle of non-maleficence. Second is principle of beneficence. Third is principle of autonomy. And fourth one is principle of justice. Now these are the 4 basic principles. First is principle of non-maleficence. Now as per this principle, our research should not put any harm to anyone, any of the participants. Now for example, if we find that this coronavirus, as one view is coming, it has been produced in a lab and it is causing such a great harm to whole of the world, whole of the society, humanity in the world, it is unethical if it has done so. So non-maleficence is one principle, that research should not cause any harm to any of the participants, whether the respondents or the other participants, the organization, the people at large, the society at large. No harm should be there. If your research is causing some harm to the society, it comes in the category of unethical. So that is the principle of non-maleficence. The second principle is principle of beneficence. The research should be beneficial for the society at large. It should make positive contributions. The research must make positive contributions. The research purpose is to find solution to the problems. So those problems should be beneficial. The solution to those problems should be beneficial to the society at large, not to any one individual beneficial. It should be for the welfare of the society. So that is the second principle. So anything which will violate that will come in the category of unethical issue. Then third is principle of autonomy. Now in the research process, various type of parties are involved. There are respondents, there is a organization which is making investment, there is a researcher, and there can be other participants in that process. So autonomy of the individuals must be respected and protected in the process of the research. For example, you are collecting data from the respondents. So the autonomy of the respondents is very important point. It must be respected that you can't put any pressure on anyone to collect the information. So that is the autonomy point. And fourth one is principle of justice, that the risk of research and the benefits of the research must be evenly distributed over all people. So it should not be like that your research is beneficial, you have done it some for your personal gains, and it is putting harm to the other people, putting the other people at risk. So that is the principle of justice. Now these four principles of non-maleficence, beneficence, autonomy and justice, these are the basic guidelines, basic principles which determine the ethical issues in research. Now as far as the ethical issues are concerned, research ethics are relevant at every stage, starting from the identification of problem, objectives, sample selection, hypothesis, everything at every stage, data collection, data analysis, at every stage in the research process, ethical issues are involved. Research is a systematic process. It is a scientific process. If there is any violation or distortion in that process, so that will create research issues. So if you are, for example, your sample selection is wrong, your data collection is wrong, or anything you have violated in that process, scientific process has not been followed, so that is unethical. And based on that, we have identified certain ethical issues in research in the field of social sciences. One is essentiality, the issue of essentiality. That research involves investment of money. It is a highly capital intensive activity. It involves involvement of people, energy, time, resources of the country. So research should be conducted in that area on that subject where there is an element of essentiality. Review of literature is done. We need to give justification of the problem, that every researcher need to write the rationale of the study, the justification of the problem, that why that research is required at all, why that research is essential, in what way it is going to fill up the gaps, or in what way it is going to add to the knowledge. So that determines the element of essentiality. Number one issue is that essentiality factor need to be ensured. Otherwise, if you are doing duplication, it is unethical. If you are doing the same work which some other person has done, it is unethical. So it must add to the knowledge. It must be, essentiality need to be established first. So that is first. Then informed consent, that is another ethical issue in the research process, that those who are participating in your research process as respondents or as other parties, so you must take their consent by explaining them each and everything in detail. So you can't collect data from the respondents by keeping them in ignorance. So therefore it is required that when you distribute your questionnaire, when you go for the collection of the data, you explain that what is the research title, what are the objectives of the study, for what purpose the data is going to be collected. If they voluntarily agree to that, only then data should be taken. So informed consent is very, very important. If you are taking data, for example, it is more relevant in case of medical sciences, that you are taking blood samples, you are taking other type of, you are trying to test your particular the medicine or vaccine on the individuals, which can cause them harm, and if they are not fully informed about that, so it is unethical. So informed consent is the second. Confidentiality is another issue, ethical issue, that it is the duty of the researcher to keep everything confidential. Confidentiality about the person who is giving the information, and confidentiality of the data which has been collected. So if data collected for some other purpose, you are disclosing it later on, so it is an unethical research activity. So confidentiality need to be maintained. Then competence is also the research. The researcher who is doing research must be competent, well qualified, capable for doing that. That is why we say that the UGC has some standards, that those who are JRF, so they are given scholarship also for doing the research, because their capability is established. So competency, capability is another. If you are not capable, you are incompetent, so it is unethical. So then accountability and transparency is another issue, that the person who is doing research, the researcher is accountable for that. It should be there should be complete transparency. What you are doing, it should be known to everyone. The way you are doing, the process you are following, so that should be transparent. Nothing should be kept secret. And totality of responsibility. So in case of research, it is the responsibility of the researcher, it is the responsibility of the organization where research is going to be conducted, it is the responsibility of the sponsoring authority also. If something goes wrong, some unethical standards, norms or issues are there, so in that case all will be responsible. For example, a PhD student doing plagiarism and has acquired the degree based on certain unethical practices, so organization will also be responsible. The person will also be responsible. Even in the history we find that one person has to give back the Nobel Prize in the medical sciences field, because later on it was found that in that research some unethical standards were followed. So it was not a correct reporting of the research. So action can be at any stage. Then risk minimization is another ethical, that while conducting research, particularly if it is on human beings, it is on animals, or it is on some other area where some risk is involved, so minimization of risk must be there. Everything needs to be ensured that when data is collected or research process is followed, so minimum risk is involved. Then another issue that is about plagiarism. Now, as already I have shared with you, that law UGC has come out with a detailed guidelines about the plagiarism. Plagiarism refers to that when you are showing some work which is unacknowledged, that you are showing some literature, some data or some information which you have not developed, which is not yours, but you are showing it as if it is your information. So without acknowledging the source of that information, that amounts to plagiarism. So now there are softwares where similarity index is calculated. If it is, there are 4 levels as per the UGC guidelines. So if it is up to 10% similarity, that your paper or your thesis is found to have 10% similarity with the other sources, so up to 10% it is considered normal, not punishable. No penalty is there for that. So up to 10% it is tolerable limit. If it is from 10 to 40%, so then it comes the level 1. So if it is up to 40% similarity, as per the UGC guidelines, you need to withdraw your report and then resubmit it within a period of 6 months. So that is level 1. Level 2 is if it is from 40 to 60%. So in case of level 2 similarity plagiarism report, in that case it is punishable, that the person is debarred as per that for 1 year for supervising any other person also, and for cannot submit that report again. So it is punishable. And if it is beyond 60%, that is level 3. So it invites serious penalties. In that case, even the person can be suspended from the job, terminated even. So it is considered as a serious crime. So therefore, now UGC has great guidelines. Whenever we are publishing any paper, whenever we are preparing a thesis, writing a report, so one need to take it seriously, that there should be plagiarism level within the limits. It should be less than 10% in all cases. If it is more than 10%, we have to take the steps. Even self-plagiarism is also that if, for example, you have published your own paper and you are again including that in your report, so that is self-plagiarism. So that also need to be acknowledged. So if it is not acknowledged, so in that case it will come in that category. So it will not be excluded from that. Now in view of that, this research, there are many ethical issues. Ethical issues means right and wrong practices, theory, moral principles. So since research is a very important activity, it relates to our future growth and knowledge base. So if there is something which is unethical, not acceptable as per our norms, as per our standards, so that need to be avoided in research. So every researcher at PhD level or beyond PhD level, or any person who is writing a paper or publishing a paper, now these days we find that there are certain unethical practices also in the publication of the research papers, that some journals, they expect money, charges or different. No one should publish in such papers. One should not publish, one should refuse to publish in such papers. So that is unethical. If we are by giving money, then we are publishing our papers. So it is unethical practice. So therefore, every researcher, every academician, every teacher must be aware that it is that research should be based on the ethical principles, basic ethical principles need to be followed. Now with these words, I am ending here. So I once again convey my thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my views on a very important subject which is relevant to every person. So with these words, thank you very much.